After this weekend, I'm looking at the world so differently. Find out why on today's podcast.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me here today, and I just couldn't wait to tell you about this awesome thing we did this weekend as a family. We decided to become the photographers instead of the ones in the photography. So we decided we would utilize some of the great scenery here. We're from Utah, and go and take pictures. The kids have been utilizing their cameras and wanting to take pictures and create. And so in efforts to do more producing over the summertime instead of consuming more, I said, why don't we all become the photographers, and we'll drive up to the mountains and we'll start taking pictures of what we see. So why don't we take a quick couple little courses, nothing really big. We just pulled up YouTube on the way up. It takes about 20-30 minutes to get up into the mountains. And so we pulled up some YouTube videos of some pretty funny characters teaching how to take photography and what kind of tips and tricks and basic ideas and concepts we could do. And so we all watched it in the video or in the car on the video and laughed and had a great time with some of the characters that are on YouTube teaching how to take photography. Now, no offense, of course, to all of you amazing professional photographers out there, because you guys are incredible. And in fact, the more we did it through the weekend, the more we realized how great you photographers are out there, because you really have an incredible skill to be able to utilize and master that equipment that you're using and have such a great eye. But we had a great time, and we got out the cameras. My wife and I were using our cameras on our phones. My two older kids have a couple phones, so they were using theirs, and we got a couple digital cameras for the little kids to use, and I was sharing back and forth with my youngest, JC, and she was using my phone to take pictures, and we had a great time. And honestly, when we started off the trip and the day, it was just something we could do that would be fun to do together, and just kind of take it out of the box. We figured we could learn a little bit about the beginnings of, or basics at least, of photography, and just go have a really great time. And it was super fun. What ended up happening was something totally unexpected, and that is that they started to do and take pictures that I just wouldn't have ever thought of. We had all watched the same video to get prepared and ready to go out and start deciding what to take pictures of. But they had just enough information and just enough of a spark to be able to go out and understand maybe what they were looking for, and maybe coming up with different ideas. And each of them had different ideas of the things they liked. By the end of the day of us taking pictures of everything, it was funny. We all got in the car to drive back home, and everybody had their thing that they liked to take pictures of. And my son loved to play with the filters and the different settings in the camera that he could make the pictures turn out differently. My wife decided that she liked taking pictures with people in the pictures more than just taking scenery pictures. And each of us just sort of had our thing that we liked to look at and liked to see. But even more so than that, as we found and took digital pictures along the way, some of them didn't turn out, and we recognized that. And so then you could look at it instantly and then go, okay, well, let's change how we're looking at that, or change the perspective, or change the focus on it, or as my son did, change the filters on it so it gave it a whole different look than what was actually being seen from our own eyes. And we created some really fun things. It was just a fun, silly photo shoot that turned into some really great perspective. And as we played with the settings of the camera and zoomed in on certain things and changed the focus and tried to use depth, and we learned about the rule of thirds and different other things. And it just was a ton of fun. And really, I think what we came out of it with was some really cool perspective on what we're looking at in the world. And we got really small, so we got really teeny in our pictures and zoomed in really close and did some really fun things that way. And we got really far and made the picture, the focal point really huge, and tried to take some really what I would say big pictures. I'm probably destroying the language for photographers, so I'm sorry for those of you that are photographers out there. But we just had a great time, and as I listened to the kids talk and go through their pictures on the way home, they were so excited about the different ways that they were able to see the world through their lens and through their focus. And what it really brought out to me is this idea that I often teach, which is what you focus on, you get. And it was funny because the difference between me and my son was the first thing he did was go in and learn how to change the focus and the tools that he had on the actual camera. And of course, I just did it the hard way and was tapping on the camera and tried to refocus that way. And I just thought, gosh, that's pretty funny. Sometimes we just need to go into the technology and learn how to use it. And that way we can actually get the perspective that we're trying to get in that moment. What you focus on, you get. And he came up with some really cool pictures. And later on, he goes, "Oh, Dad, that one's really great. How did you do that focus?" And I said, "I just tapped on the thing I wanted to focus." He goes, "Oh, it does that." And apparently my phone with auto focus, if I tap on where I want it to look at, it will focus in on that one thing and blur out everything else. That's some pretty cool technology I didn't realize all of our phones have on them. But we had a great time. We came out with some really cool pictures, or at least we thought they were cool with our amateur eye, and we gained some really cool focus. One of the pictures we thought was really cool through the weekend. We were standing at a boulder, and instead of taking a picture of everything else around, we decided to take a picture of it really, really up close. And so we zoomed really close. We got as close to that rock as we could, and we zoomed in really close. When we looked at the final product in the car on the way home, it looked like it was its own mountain, but literally it was just a boulder that was right on the side of the path. And the perspective on it was just so changed when we just zoomed in really close. And sometimes when you get out farther, you can see the big picture. One of the things that I thought was also unique was my kids' perspective on these pictures in relationship to the world. At a certain point, you start to realize that the camera can never really get everything in that we see with our eyes. It's pretty amazing what we can take in and the amount of information we can consume just from looking out into the world. But the camera can never really get it. And yet at the same time, the camera can get some really cool focuses. And it was just such a iteration of what you focus on, you get. And that's what we kind of took out of it for the weekend. We had a great time, and we had a lot of pictures come out really good. I don't know if we're going to do anything with them, but but we had a great time putting it together and having fun for the day, taking all sorts of pictures. Anyway, you should try it sometime. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure wherever you're at, you can go out and find an area to take pictures of. And honestly, we took some pictures that were crazy, crazy good. And some of them were just of leaves or flowers that we found on the side of the path or in the trees or whatever. And it was a lot of fun. And, each of the personalities of my children came out. My third Jaina, she was funny. She was such an active photographer. Like, she ended up getting pictures of squirrels because she was like in the bushes and in the mix of what was out there. And next thing you know, she comes back and she goes, "Look, I got all these pictures of this squirrel." And everybody's just like, how did you do that? So anyway, it was really a lot of fun. We had a good time. You should try it. Go out and have a good time taking some pictures. Watch some YouTube videos and get sort of a first round of information before you go out and do it. That way you have an idea of what you're doing. And have a great time and change your perspective on the world through the camera lens. It's a ton of fun and a really great way to spend a day on the weekend. So I hope you grab something from the podcast. Remember, what you focus on, you get, and change your perspective. Sometimes just changing your perspective can change everything. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. As usual, if you know somebody that would love the podcast, please share it with them. We're on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. We'd love you to pass it on and help change somebody else's world. So have a great day. We'll see you at the next podcast. Thanks. Want more Magic for Life? If so, then reserve your copy of my new book. Get your copy at everyminutebook.com. Inside this book, you'll find the secrets to attaining the next level of performance in anything you do. Learn the secrets behind emotional mastery that'll start you on your new journey of being a lifer. Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or an artist, this book will change your life forever. Get your copy reserved today.